Hey, real quick, before you scroll past this, I want you to think about someone you know, a parent, a coworker, maybe your neighbor down the street, who did everything they were supposed to do. Went to college, got the job, bought the house, has the car in the driveway, kids in school, and still sits at the kitchen table at night wondering why the numbers don't add up. Got that person in your head? Good, because I'm about to show you exactly why that happened, and it has nothing to do with how hard they worked. Setup. You did everything right. I'm Marcus. This is Macro Finance, and today we're talking about the middle-class trap, one of the most expensive lies ever sold to the American people. Here is what you were told to do. Work hard, stay in school, get a degree, land a stable job with benefits, buy a house because real estate always goes up, contribute to your 401k, and eventually you would retire comfortable. Maybe not rich, but secure. That was the deal. Now, here is the truth nobody is telling you. That deal was rewritten, quietly, piece by piece, over 40 years, while you were following the rules. And the people who rewrote it? They got extraordinarily rich doing it. In 1985, a median-income household in America could buy a median-priced home for about 3 times their annual salary. 3 times. That math worked. You could hustle your way into ownership. Today, the median home price is sitting around $420,000. The median household income is about $80,000. That is over 5 times your salary, before interest rates near 7%, before property taxes, before insurance that has doubled in coastal states. You didn't get lazy. The math got rigged. Trap number 1. The pension elimination. Go back to the 1970s. If you worked a steady job at a decent American company, you got a pension. Your employer promised to pay you a fixed monthly income for the rest of your life after you retired. The company took on the risk. You just showed up and did your job. Then, in 1981, they introduced the 401k, and corporations had a choice: keep paying guaranteed pensions or shift to 401ks and let employees fund their own retirement. You already know which one they picked. By 2025, fewer than 15% of private sector workers have a pension. In 1983, it was over 60%. Here is the part that should make you genuinely angry. That shift didn't just move the cost, it moved the risk entirely onto you. Your retirement is now a function of whether you picked the right mutual funds, whether the market did not crash the year you retired, whether you contributed enough during the years you could barely pay rent. The company kept the profits, you kept the uncertainty. Let me put a real number on that. If you earn $60,000 a year and contribute 6% to your 401k, you are putting in $3,600 a year. At a 7% average return over 30 years, that is around $340,000 at retirement. Sounds okay, right? Except the average American needs over $1.5 million to retire comfortably by modern standards. The pension would have gotten you there automatically. The 401k puts a dartboard in front of you and says, good luck. That is not a retirement plan. That is a gamble sold as security. Trap 2. The Wage Flatline. Here's the second trap, and this one hits completely different when you see the numbers side by side. Since 1979, that's 45 years, the average hourly wage for a middle-income American worker has gone up about 6% total, adjusted for inflation. 6% in 45 years.
Worker productivity up 62%. Americans were producing more value, more output, more profit per hour worked, and they were getting almost none of it. So where did that money go? CEO pay in 1978, about 30 times the average worker. Now, CEO pay over 300 times. In some major corporations, over 600 times the median employee salary. That is not capitalism rewarding hard work. That is a redistribution from workers to shareholders dressed up as market forces. You didn't get a raise, they gave themselves your raise. Now, I know what some of you are thinking right now. Marcus, I am not a CEO. This doesn't affect me directly. And that is exactly what they want you to believe. Here is the trap hidden in that thinking. When wages stagnate, but the cost of housing, healthcare, and education doubles, you reach for the one thing they offer you next: credit. The average American household carries $10,000 in credit card debt at an average interest rate of 22%. That is $2,200 a year just in interest, just to stay in the same financial position you were in last year. You are not spending your way into the middle class. You are paying rent to stay in it.
Trap 3. The debt distraction. Think about what happened when wages could not keep up. They did not raise wages, they expanded access to credit. Want a car you cannot afford? 0% for 60 months. Want a house that is out of reach? Here's an adjustable rate mortgage. Want a degree that used to cost $5,000? Here's $80,000 in federal student loans. And every single one of those products, the car note, the mortgage, the student loan, the credit card, generates interest, revenue, for someone else. You are not a consumer, you are a revenue stream. Here's the number that makes this visceral. The average American will pay over $280,000 in interest alone over their lifetime. Credit cards, car loans, mortgages, student debt. Money that never built them a single dollar of wealth. Money that went directly to financial institutions. $280,000. That's more than most Americans have saved in their 401k at retirement age. The average American pays more in lifetime interest than they have saved for retirement. Payoff. What happened and what you do now. Payoff. The truth and 3 moves. So let's call this what it is. The middle class was not killed by laziness. It was not killed by a bad economy. It was systematically dismantled, pension by pension, wage negotiation by wage negotiation, credit product by credit product, while the story on the screen stayed exactly the same. Work hard, buy things, you'll be fine. You are not bad with money. You are not lazy. You are not irresponsible. You were handed a system with a leak built into it and then told the water damage was your fault. But here's where it shifts, because once you see the con, you cannot unsee it. And the people who actually build wealth in this environment all make the same moves. Move 1. Stop funding someone else's wealth first. If your 401k has expense ratios above 0.5%, you are paying a silent management fee every single year. On a $300,000 account, a 1% expense ratio costs you $3,000 a year. Over 30 years, compounded, that's hundreds of thousands, quietly extracted from your retirement. Move to low-cost index funds, VOO, FSKAS, VTI, expense ratios of 0.03% to 0.04%. The difference over 30 years is not hundreds of dollars, it is hundreds of thousands. VOO, 0.03%, FSKAS, 0.015%, VTI, 0.03%. One move, hundreds of thousands saved. Move 2. Treat debt like a house fire. The average credit card charges 22% interest. There is no investment on earth that consistently beats 22% guaranteed. Every extra dollar you put toward high-interest debt is a guaranteed 22% return. Pay it down like your financial life depends on it, because it does. Move 3. Understand what wealth actually is. Wealth is not income. A household earning $200,000 with $400,000 in debt and zero assets is poorer than a household earning $70,000 with no debt and $150,000 in investments. The middle class was sold income as the goal. Wealth is the goal. Assets, things that generate value while you sleep. The people who figured this out stopped playing by rules designed to extract from them, and they started building quietly instead. The middle class was never meant to disappear. It was meant to be a stepping stone. The promise was real when the system was designed to support it. But the system changed, and most people are still following instructions for a game that has completely different rules now. You know the rules, now. And that changes everything. The middle class was a promise made in good faith and broken in silence. Wealth is the promise you make to yourself and keep quietly. If this video made you angry, good. Let that anger become a plan. Hit the like button right now and comment below with this one question. What is one rule from the old system you are done following? Write it down. Make it public. I read every single comment. Subscribe to Macro Finance for more. Every week, we break down the real economics behind money in America, not the version they sell you, the real one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.